condition is inherited in an autosomal dominant pattern, which means one copy of the altered gene in each cell is sufficient to cause a disorder. At least 25% of Marfan syndrome cases result from a new mutation in the FBN1 gene. These cases occur in people with no history of the disorder in their family. The FBN1 gene provides instructions for making a large protein called fibrillin-1. It is an autosomal dominant.
Microfibrils store a protein called transforming growth factor beta. A critical growth factor affects development by helping to control the growth and division of cells, the process by which cells mature.
Marfan syndrome can be mild to severe and symptoms can vary. People with Marfan syndrome are often tall, thin, and loose-jointed.
Individuals with Marfan syndrome are usually tall and slender, have elongated fingers and toes, and have an arm span that exceeds their body height. Other common features include a long and narrow face, crowded teeth, and abnormal curvature of the spine, scoliosis, and a second chest. Most individuals with Marfan syndrome have some degree of nearsightedness.
Antoine Marfan, the French doctor who discovered Marfan syndrome in 1896, is a disorder that affects the body's connective tissue, which is found everywhere in the body. In 1896, Marfan presented the case of a 5-year-old girl. Gabrielle P. Marfan pointed out her disproportionately long limbs. Her mother had noticed the abnormalities already at birth. The fingers and toes were exceptionally long and slender, making a spider-like impression. Gabrielle P.'s striking abnormalities of the skeletal system progressed to the time of her death in early adolescence, probably from tuberculosis. Whether Gabrielle was affected by what became known as the Marfan syndrome has never been clarified. Indeed, she perhaps had congenital and contractural condactyly. In 1902, another girl with similar manifestations was reported by Archer. It is an irony of fate that the Archer's patient had the condition which is now regarded as Marfan syndrome. While Marfan's patient Gabrielle did not suffer from Marfan syndrome, but some other inheritable disease with a tendency to contractures, the phenotype was expanded to include cardiovascular and ocular abnormalities and mutations in the gene that encodes the extracellular matrix protein fibrillin -1 cause classic Marfan syndrome. Up to 1/3 of cases have neither parent affected and represent de novo mutations in either the gamete from their mother or father.
Some scientists believe that President Abraham Lincoln had symptoms of Marfan syndrome.
Mutations in the FBN1 gene cause Marfan syndrome. The FBN1 gene provides instructions for making a protein called fibrillin-1. Fibrillin-1 attaches to other fibrillin-1 proteins and other molecules to form thread-like filaments called microfibrils. Microfibrils become part of the fibers that provide strength and flexibility to connective tissue.
Fibrillin is a protein that plays a major role in your body's connective tissue. Here we have the syndrome affects the bones, eyes, skin, lungs, and nervous system, along with the heart and blood vessels.
There is no cure. Marfan patients may require lifelong medical treatment. The most commonly used drugs are beta blockers, which cause your heart to beat more slowly and with less force. For some children and adolescents, doctors recommend a custom-made back brace, which is worn nearly continuously until growth is complete. If the curve in your child's spine is too great, your doctor may suggest surgery to straighten the spine. You may need to avoid competitive sports and certain recreational activities if you're at increased risk of aortic dissection or rupture. Less intense activities such as brisk walking, bowling, double tennis, or golf are generally safer. So, people with Marfan syndrome have reduced life expectancy. This condition is inherited in an autosomal dominant pattern, which means one copy of the altered gene in each cell is sufficient to cause the disorder. At least 25% of Marfan syndrome cases result from a new mutation in the FBN1 gene. The incidence is approximately 1 in 9,800, and around 26% of cases have no family history, the condition resulting from a new mutation. Life expectancy is primarily determined by the severity of cardiovascular involvement and has improved substantially in the past 30 years as a result of improved medical and surgical management. When a parent has Marfan syndrome, each of his or her children has a 50% chance to inherit the FBN1 gene.